Hello. Hi, everyone. So I'm Giacomo Piccialli. I'm a senior writer at Wired. And today I'm going to talk to Nicolas Cary from blockchain.com about what exactly. I think we should probably start explaining what you've been up to, because blockchain has been founded, has been around for 10 years. It was founded in October 2011 when I was much younger, and you too, I suppose.
Yeah, so we just learned, we share a little history together, which was moving to the UK 8 years ago, which is pretty cool. But blockchain.com was founded actually in northern England, which a lot of people don't know, in the town of York. And since then, the past decade, we've expanded dramatically. But it is actually relevant as we sort of peer into the future today to talk a little bit about what's happened over the past decade. I think it's pretty relevant because while we're on this stage here, there's been a lot of scaffolding that has really been built to allow us to basically take this whole industry and finally get to the type of scale that really delivers on the impact on the promise of building a new financial system for the internet that empowers anyone in the world to control their wealth. And that's the thing we got started doing 10 years ago.
Right.
We have not accomplished our mission yet, but we have made some progress.
What's your end game? So let's recap what you do right now. You're a blockchain explorer. You have a wallet. You are an exchange, essentially.
Yeah.
And you also have some kind of institutional services. So
yeah.
Big actors can buy crypto through you. What else? And where do you want to go from there? Where do you want to move from there?
Yeah, thanks, Jan. So when we started out, we built something basically out of interest of the founders. We all had a mutual sort of curiosity about statistics, and we wanted to see what was happening on the blockchain. So the very first product that we ever built was blockchain.info, which was a block explorer for the Bitcoin network. For us to be able to surface how much economic activity was happening was sort of the first way we wanted to understand whether or not there was viability to the network. And that was true. We also then realized it was going to need to be a lot easier to use Bitcoin if it was ever going to become adopted. So we got after building a wallet. A wallet is a really critical piece of infrastructure in the cryptocurrency industry. And we still need more and better user experiences to onboard the next 100 million and eventually, hopefully, up to 1 billion users, which is really the work we're focused on heading into the next decade. But
right.
For us, the composition of the company really has sort of two sides. We're very concentrated on the retail bit, which is helping crypto-curious users in each new generation have a great and safe place for them to send, receive, secure, trade, and exchange some crypto. So that's the wallet, and we've had over 80 million people.
So the general public, help general public use crypto much more than now.
Yeah, that's still a hugely important part of our work.
Roughly put. And what's the other?
Yeah, so this year we've seen more growth on the wallet than in any previous year of the company's existence. And we can go into probably some of the reasons why everyone in this room that's working in the industry is seeing pretty phenomenal growth, but also stress. But the retail side is super important. That's how people get into the space. And for the first time in the history of investing, this whole phenomena has really been a retail-driven momentum event. On the other side of the house, though, we have a bit more of a sophisticated offering, which is our institutional business.
Right, which, 2020, 2021 have been called the years in which crypto went mainstream, but also the years in which crypto went institutional, right? So what kind of organizations come to you, and what kind of services do you provide on that kind of arm of the business?
Right, so when people talk about institutions, they're really talking about traditional financial service providers, which is kind of ironical because a lot of the work we're all trying to do is also about disintermediating them and building businesses that put them out of business. However, a lot of them are also seeing the tremendous opportunities of the work that's happening built on the shoulders of all the engineers in the community. And there are a couple macro forces conspiring simultaneously right now that have brought institutions into the market. So the most important and obvious one is the state of the market itself. You have the largest generation of wealth ever to be transferred coming very soon from all of our parents and our grandparents who will passing these things down. Right. You also have incredible obligations in the pension systems around the world to provide income to people that are retiring. And how they do that is by investing across a broad range of
So who's coming to you at the end of the day because of these forces?
So let's talk about the conditions, though, that we have in the market. You have negative interest rates across major markets around the world. The United States just announced a 6.1% inflation rate
Yeah.
in the past 30 days. It's the highest it's been in 30 years. And I would argue that's probably underreported because of how embarrassing it would be if a real basket of goods was mark to mark on accurate pricing levels. So it's possible the actual inflation rate, looking at a broader basket of goods, is maybe closer to 15%. This is really astonishing.
This is new though, right? Because I mean, the offering to institutional actors has been there for a while. So of course, yeah, I'm sure the inflation will bring many more people to blockchain.com.
So
and
the
to the
reason
institutional offer,
yeah.
but I still like to understand who comes to you asking for institutional services.
Okay, so you've heard some big names this year from everybody like Tesla to larger traditional financial service providers offering or starting to look at building offerings for their private wealth clients and more. We service all kinds of different institutions ourselves. I can't reveal most of the client names because that's privileged information. However, I can assure you,
I mean the type of
they have
of
arrived.
actors.
We raised $300 million earlier this year, making us one of the most valuable private companies in Europe, and the lead check from that came from Baillie Gifford, which represents large pension systems out of Scotland and many more. We've also raised money from More Strategic Capital, Kyle Bass. These are major hedge fund managers of traditional financial titans who are taking significant positions in crypto. You also have guys like Ray Dalio.
And any specific cryptocurrency they're most interested in? Are they buying all Bitcoin? Are they buying all
Yeah,
Ether?
everyone's coming up the learning curve,
Right.
honestly, within these institutions, which is built a lot on the educational work happening in the industry. So they don't necessarily take a view on one crypto or another. They look at it as a basket of assets.
Right. And do you create the basket?
So we are working right now on a product offering called Blockchain Asset Management, and we'll be offering fully custodied services for all kinds of things, and be happy to talk to anybody who's interested in that. We also offer custody services to protocol projects. So this is relevant probably for some of the folks in this room. If you need to treasury some of your tokens across multiple venues, we can help you do that. And there are large token projects that treasure a significant amount of their holdings with the blockchain.com custody system. We also offer bespoke lending opportunities for people that need access to capital. We also have a venture fund, blockchain.com Ventures, which is invested in 30 publicly declared projects, many of them in the DeFi space. So if you're looking for a partner that has over a decade of experience working in the industry, help you navigate the legal and regulatory complexities, help you hire, help you think through your strategy, and has the largest retail distribution platform in the world, these are projects we want to talk to.
Good. So you said very many interesting things, but I'm just dying to ask, does the institutional basket include any Dogecoin or NFT, any of these most fun coins?
Yeah, so we have a whole basket of digital currencies supported on the blockchain.com platform.
Right.
And so we can bundle those for institutional clients.
And do people want Dogecoin?
I would say institutions are probably not as curious on Dogecoin. But they definitely have understood the argument, especially for Bitcoin. And I would say many of the other top-tier Layer 1 protocols have driven significant interest from institutional clients.
Right. There was this interview I read a couple of weeks ago on Fortune, I think. You're probably there too. But I think one of your co-founders said something like, we do not want to be the place where you go to trade some zany meme coins and stuff like that. So my question is, isn't the market going in that direction? And shouldn't you want to be the place where people come and flip meme coins and Doge coins and NFTs and all these crazy assets? Isn't that where the fun is and maybe the money is?
Yeah, we've had this debate in the company for a long time, and I'm not sure we'll ever settle this debate.
Well, what's your position?
Part of it is, there's certainly a philosophical interest in letting people basically trade whatever they might want.
Right.
But we also have sort of, I would say, kind of a responsibility to make sure that the assets that we offer within blockchain.com are vetted very cautiously. For those of you that haven't been in the industry very long, if you look at the top cryptos today, only a couple of them were the top cryptos in 2017. Even fewer were the top cryptos in 2012. In 2011, there was only one. And so for us, when you support new assets, that means you also have to do real customer support for them. And when the market moves or some of these projects don't pan out or there's a rug pull or there's real fraud in the market, you do not want to be offering those types of things on your platform. So in short, we have an entire listing process for assets we put in the system. We are very cautious about what we add.
How do you pick it? For instance, are you going to provide some kind of NFT trading platform the way Coinbase is about to do? Because you are a massive actor right now. You are certainly one of the most crucial brokers and stewards of transactions. But also, as the market evolves in the kind of more out there direction, don't you fear falling behind the curve there?
So one of the things we've done is made a ton of investments into DeFi projects, including NFT platforms.
Right.
So we are really involved in financing the next generation of startups in this space. In terms of how those will interact with the blockchain.com platform, we're super excited about integrating some of these things in the future. I don't have any announcements to make today, but I think it's pretty obvious which way the puck is going. People want to trade all kinds of collectibles. I was a collector of coins and seashells and geodes when I was a kid. I also had a brief stint collecting Pokemons. And I get that that's going to be a thing for not just little trinkets on the internet, but actually real art, real music. You're a writer. Wouldn't it be cool if you owned a little bit of all of the creativity you've ever composed and be able to be compensated for that for the rest of your life? That's the kind of platforms, that's the kind of incentive alignment that is so interesting to me that this creator economy is demanding. And so the really, the headline I think for everybody here today is that there are three conspiring super forces right now in the market. You have real inflation that isn't transitory. That's going to drive people to look for alternative assets. You have institutions really deploying capital into the market and into the industry. And you have the creative zeitgeist of the world looking for a way to own more of the things that they build, create, write, sing, and share with everybody. And so those three things conspiring together are certainly driving this momentum event.
But no announcement at this stage.
Just stay tuned, obviously, and we'd love to talk to some of the folks here. You can always contact me at nicholas@blockchain.com. We're very interested in this industry. I wore my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt today, which is also an NFT. And it's a real one in the real world.
Something will
and I don't have
definitely
it on the screen of my phone. It's here on my shirt with Donatello and all my other favorite Ninja Turtles.
Of course, we all love the Renaissance artists. So nothing to say, but you seem pretty bullish on these kind of new assets. That's essentially the kind of feel I have about blockchain.com. It's not really much in the news because it doesn't follow the fads, if you wish, or maybe the trends. Depends on what do you think about this kind of emerging trends.
Our key strategic marketing initiative was to buy the domain and then bring the traffic into the community. And that's always where we've been focused, that and building things. I think we'll let the work speak for itself, but at the end of the day, we want the blockchain.com wallet to be your passport into the future of all financial services and access. And a lot of people in the crypto space talk about falling down the rabbit hole. Well, DeFi is more like traveling through a fucking wormhole. It's a completely different thing, and a lot of the world isn't quite ready to get there yet. We have so many bridges to build still. I really see that as one of the core pieces of functionality and architecture that we're building, is just to be able to bring in the next cohorts of crypto curious and putting them into a trusted wallet platform that lets them manage, trade, and exchange digital forms of wealth. It's very obvious to me there's going to be all kinds of collectible digital forms of wealth, tokens and otherwise, and we want those things to be able to be stored and traded in a wallet too.
Right. You've grown a lot. I think that today you have, 300 staff. Maybe more than that?
We have a large global team. It is very decentralized as of the last couple of years, especially due to the response to the pandemic. We also have a ton of open roles, though. We are hiring like crazy, both here in the UK, but around the world.
Right, and also you raise a lot of investment this year specifically?
So we raised $400 million this year, a couple billion in debt. We have
so when are you going to IPO?
Look, we've seen some amazing companies come forward into the public markets this year. I mean, the Coinbase public listing, regardless of what your perspective is on everything, minted an incredible outcome for that team, and all applause to them. We're also seeing an interesting dynamic, though, which is the public markets don't really know how to value a crypto company yet. So the crypto market might go up, and the stock price of Coinbase could either trade sideways or down. Despite their earnings, that were just released this week, I think the smart money is definitely seeing, the opportunities for publicly listed crypto companies. Now, there might be a short period of time where companies go public that are crypto companies, and there's probably going to be a very rapid acceleration of total decentralization. There's been an interesting case this year. Shapeshift basically decentralized their entire business, gave every customer that ever had tried it a token, and they are now governing the entire product roadmap using nothing but DeFi tools. This is a crazy and awesome experiment, and I welcome many more of those to see if that's a way that we can coordinate human energy, time, and creativity, and see whether or not you can keep incentives aligned properly and continue to build stuff that people find useful. So there's a whole new business model for how to take a firm.
When are you going
basically.
to IPO?
I don't have an answer for that. Look, we have a ton of money. We have a lot of work to do. We're hiring like crazy. We want to build an enduring business that's here for a long time. That is the most important thing we're concentrated on right now.
So you're not telling me when you're going to IPO. Are you planning? Are you considering? Are you thinking about exiting to DAO, as people say today? Are you going to be fully decentralized and essentially relinquish your corporate structure? Or at least insert new decentralization elements into your company and the way you interact with customers? I mean,
we're organized and structured a lot more like a traditional technology company, or maybe even a bit more like a JP Morgan that's totally tooled with tech for crypto. We are not set up as a DAO, and so I don't see that pathway being as clear for us in the short term. Who knows where things go over the next 5 years? A lot of it depends on how fast this community grows. If you want to see great outcomes, everybody in this room needs to go recruit 10 more people to get into wallet systems, to own some crypto. Be generous right now. The world has been very generous to you, and there's a special moment to share some of that. It's also how you grow this network. It's a network effect community, a network effect money. That'll be the fastest way we get from where we are today to that next step function. And I'd encourage everybody in this room to find some people in your friend group, neighborhoods, anywhere, grandparents. Sign them up.
I'm very happy for that. Yeah. So do you think that, in a way, now we are witnessing the rise of big coin, if you wish, like big pharma, big tech, big coin? And do you think that you are part of it? Because I think, in a way, that's what's happening, right? There are the experimentators and the trolls and the artists who are all on DeFi flipping Inashibu or whatever it's called, and Shiba Inu actually, and Dogecoin, and NFTs, and on the other side are the responsible actors like you, essentially saying, well, we won't probably go DAO, we might IPO, but that's a kind of dichotomy I'm seeing now. And my question is, do you consider yourself part of Bitcoin, Nicolas?
Look, I think literally everybody has a part to play. When we think about who was Satoshi, we all are this spirit of it. And I see, my role is helping build an enduring company and ultimately, hopefully building something people find extraordinarily useful. I have sort of this vision of getting to, 1 billion users in the crypto community by 2030. That's good for everybody. That's what we're going to, work on over the next decade.
Isn't the future more on the side of the kind of decentralized DeFi, DAO structures, as opposed to what now we can call incumbents after 1 decade?
Look, I think you can run a centralized company and still invest and support decentralized initiatives. And so, to me, what we're really concentrated on, to be clear, is just building that interface that lets you then do whatever you want with your wealth. And that will likely face off both sometimes against, in the near term, centralized exchanges, centralized lending services, but in the future, definitely decentralized exchanges, definitely decentralized service providers, decentralized social networks, decentralized games.
And they will exist side by side, those two.
Yeah, definitely.
And why should they both exist?
I think they're going to coexist for a while. There are certain things that, at least, the other thing I'd really point out is that there are certain advantages to being early in the industry. You have reputation, you have longer term trust with clients. In our case, we were one of the first wallet providers in the world. And because of that, you now have millions of users that have earned significant amounts of wealth and are trying to figure out what to do with that. Part of that is providing them interesting opportunities. Other things include just giving them tools so that they can manage that in a more risk-managed way. So long story short, look, the world needs more people building. It's great that there are day traders out there. They're also welcome. They provide liquidity to markets. There are people taking risk. But we also have a ton of stuff to build. You need to build features, services, groups, organizations, artist consortiums, and give people tools so that they can use these things both in the real and physical and metaphysical world.
Right. Metaphysical, right. Two final, actually not final, but two questions. I don't know whether they're final. I get in mixed signals. That
I think
means
we got
final.
2 minutes left.
Okay, right. It's a kind of like a rap move. Anyway, first, what did Coinbase have that you didn't have? Why do they have higher profits? Why are they on everybody's lips? What do you think they got right that you didn't get right? Or maybe you will get it right in the future. Or maybe you are playing the long game. I don't know. What's going on there?
I would take a different
You are the first
perspective
movers,
on that.
right?
So we have very different models. Coinbase is mostly a centralized service provider, and they have done very well in the United States, which is a very big market. Blockchain.com is much larger in the rest of the world. We've only been through a Series C funding. They went through many more fundraising cycles before they even went public. Now, they're a little bit further along in certainly their revenue story, but we are doing extraordinarily well. We've done over $1.5 billion worth of revenue this year.
They're doing better.
We have the oldest, wealthiest minted cohort of crypto users on the planet. And the other thing I'd take into consideration is if you view the future of finance to be decentralized with fabrics that wrap the planet basically that allow anyone to exchange digital forms of wealth, you need to have a non-custodial wallet as the interface to that future. Yeah. So when I talk about the blockchain.com wallet being a passport that allows people to travel into the future, it is an endpoint. You are the custodian of your wealth. That to me is going to be the biggest differentiator in the next decade. And if you look at how Coinbase is actually trying to...
They're moving in that direction right now, right?
Because the whole point of all of this was to disintermediate financial services in the first place, not build a bank on top of a decentralized protocol. So if you believe in that vision, then use tools that align with that vision. Make sure you have custody of your own keys and be very cautious how you handle that custody.
Right. Very good answer. Final question. Are you running for president? And if you are not, why did blockchain.com hire Jim Messina, I think former campaign manager of Barack Obama, and also Matteo Renzi, but that's another story.
Okay. No, I'm not running for president. Jim Messina is a board director at blockchain.com. He was the former deputy White House chief of staff and served as Barack Obama's former campaign manager. Look, the market we're operating in is very complex, very global, and it is definitely on the attention of global regulators. And one of the things we want to do is have a constructive dialogue with regulators around the world for the things that need to be regulated, and then there are things that need to be hands-off. And one of the ways you do that is by working with people that have been focused at the intersection of consumer protection, of thoughtful regulatory policy, and technology. And Jim has been a leader in that space.
So a friendly face like Jim can help butter up the Elizabeth Warrens of this world.
Sometimes you can send the crypto nerd, and sometimes you need to send someone that's a little more fluent in the language of policy.
Right. What is your 2-cent take on where regulation should go and where it shouldn't go? And then we'll conclude.
I mean, look, if you take custody of people's money, you have a fiduciary duty. You look a lot more like a financial service provider, and we have all the traditional financial service regulation already slightly bundled to support that type of business. And I think that makes sense. So we don't necessarily need a whole bunch of new stuff, and that's kind of the direction of travel it seems to be heading. But it's really getting a lot of attention right now just because the market has hit a $3 trillion market cap. This is the peak week in the history of all crypto. So it's an exciting time.
What about what shouldn't be regulated?
What was that?
What about what it shouldn't be regulated? You said some areas should be, some areas shouldn't. Which ones shouldn't?
The biggest difference is around custody, and we are being waved off. So yeah, that's the biggest differentiator, and I think we'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nicolas. And we are leaving the stage. Hello, hello.
Hello, thank you for the talk. Scott Osman from Random Network. I want to ask you, you spoke about institutional services and packaging bundles of assets. Now, are these bundled assets actually held on chain for these institutions, or are you acting as an intermediary? And second to that, how can you ensure that you're not actually building out the infrastructure for the equivalent of a 2008 crash on a scale 100 times the size? Because blockchain will expand across the globe crypto is expanding, and this will actually be even more dangerous than 2008. So how can you be sure that you're not building out that infrastructure in relation to bundling assets together, inclusive of meme tokens and things like this? And who is doing the vetting process for this? You internally, or are you hiring some vetting third-party organization? And then how can we ensure that this third-party organization is
I would
safe?
love to
That's a lot
talk
of
with
questions
you
bundled
through
together.
all of
Try
that.
to
Okay,
distill
just the
them.
one question.
I'll try and answer all those questions quickly. So it is important to remember that crypto is really a response to the 2008 financial crisis. And one of the biggest issues related to that was obviously a lack of transparency in markets. One of the beautiful things about crypto is if you do things on chain, you can study what's happening. We work with clients that have different requirements around how they want to manage their risk. Sometimes that's in a custodial way. Sometimes that's in a non-custodial way. If it's custodied, you have all kinds of auditing requirements, security diligences, security controls, people controls. So it's much more like a traditional financial asset. When we talk about bundling, some people just want large market cap cryptos. So they basically only want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or maybe the top 5 in a balanced and risk managed way. That's what I mean when I say bundling, not like taking a whole bunch of collateralized debt obligations and selling AAA rated shit.